Good day, you absolute legends. In today's video, we are going to be doing a full comprehensive guide on No Man's Sky in 2024. I have poured all of my knowledge, all of my years worth of experiences, everything I know is in today's video. And it doesn't matter if you're a brand new player or even a seasoned veteran, this video has something for everybody. Now, I'm not going to do the usual spiel, but you all know by now if you need to go ahead and resubscribe, just double check that for me. If you need to resubscribe to the channel, please do resubscribe, or if you have been watching me for a while and you like what I do, then why not consider hitting that subscribe button? You definitely will not regret it. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get right on into today's video. So first of all, ladies and gentlemen, I've been messing about with the Exo Skiff as of late because it's just a static piece of equipment. It doesn't go anywhere. But one thing I've noticed is with the way that it works and the way that the mechanics are, technically speaking, it can and should move. But in game right now, there isn't like a motor you can stick on one of these things. So how can we get this skiff to actually start wading across the water? Well, that's some experimentation I decided to do today, and I've cracked it. So there's two methods that you can currently use, which is putting down a base computer at the very back end of the skiff. And you put down the base computer, it will raise the nose up forward and it want to slide then underneath, thus propelling yourself a little bit forward. It is a very slow method, but once you do it, you actually don't ever stop. The only way you can stop is either if you hit land or you place another building structure down on the actual skiff itself. But you can do this as many times as you want to try and build up speed and momentum slowly, but there is a max limit and a finite limit to this. But there is another, and in my opinion, better way. So what we can do instead is use the Nomad. Now, I've just got a standard Nomad. There isn't any upgrades on this because I never basically use it. However, because the Nomad can traverse across the water quite easily, it can bump right into the Exo Skiff, thus propelling it forward. Now, like I said, you can propel this forward for as long as you want, and then it will just start gliding across the water and it will never stop. Now let's talk about space stations. Did you know that if you land inside of a space station, you can actually then select any ship in your inventory? You can have 12 ships in total as of the recording of today's date. Sometimes whenever there's an update, you can get more ships added. It's gone from like 8 to 12, and I think even before that, I think you like 5 was the max limit or something like that. But now in today's No Man's Sky, you can have 12 and you can call them in and switch them out as many times as you want, and there is no landing or takeoff fee for landing or taking off in a space station, so that's extra nice. Another thing with the space station as well is where you can go to the Starship Fabricator, which is a brand new addition in No Man's Sky, and now you're able to build your very own ship, whether that be a solar, a fighter, a hauler, whatever the case may be. You just need to get the ship parts, which you can get from dismantling ships, but you can make your very own customized ship and you can have different colors. Now let's talk about the trade terminal, because every space station, whether it be a normal space station, a pirate space station, or even an abandoned one, all has these trade terminals, and no two trade terminals are created equal. They all have different things for sell and offer, so no matter which system that you're in, always go by the trade terminal and see what it's selling, because you might be able to pick up something that you are desperately needing that the last space station didn't have. But you can also, with that trade terminal, sell anything that you don't want in your inventory as well. Now, whilst we are at this space station, we're going to talk about the NPC ships that land. Now, what you want to do is whenever an NPC ship lands, you want to look for the pilot. Now, the pilot will be standing somewhere around the ship. You do need to be quick to catch them though, because they do jump in the ship and fly off from time to time. But once you do, you have a few different options. You can recruit them to your own squadron. You can go ahead and trade the ship. So if you see a ship that they're flying that you really want, you have one or two options. You can trade it out for a ship between them and what you've got, or you can buy it outright. But they can also act like a mini trading terminal, and you can trade items and sell items to them directly instead of going with the marketplace as I've just shown. Now, the other type of space station in No Man's Sky is called the Outlaw Station. This looks dramatically different from the normal space stations. In here, you can go ahead and you can sell and buy contraband, or you can take out contracts and you can start smuggling different things across the galaxy. Do be warned though, because because if you are caught smuggling, you will have a fight on your very hands. Also, when using the teleportation terminus in the pirate space stations, you can't go to a normal space station from that. You can only go to other pirate space stations, and the same is true for normal teleportation terminuses. On normal space stations, you can't go to a pirate space station. However, from the Anomaly, you can go to both. When you're out and about in space, look for massive asteroid fields. These are fantastic ways to gather vital resources such as tritium, gold and silver. The asteroids are absolutely full of them, so make sure if you're low on tritium especially, and that's what you use to refuel your ship, make sure that you go ahead, destroy a few asteroid shields, and you'll be able to refuel the pulse drive, and you can get from A to B a lot more quickly. Now this one's for the newer players out there. Once you go ahead and you get past the tutorial missions, that's like building your first base and so on, you'll be then given access to something called the Anomaly. The Anomaly is a player hub where everybody who plays No Man's Sky can all be seen inside of this location. You can spawn it anywhere in space and you'll join an automatic lobby where you'll fly in and everyone just loads in automatically, unless you have your multiplayer turned off like I've done just for today's video. Inside here you'll get some more vital resources such as the Nexus, which is this place right here. Inside the Nexus you can get to do daily missions. So the daily missions will give you 400 plus Quicksilver, and you can do this up to 3 times, or you can do normal missions which will give you units and usually an item on top of that. Now just behind the Nexus we have the Expedition Terminus. Now you can start an expedition 2 ways, either by using the Expedition Terminus. Now this is on my alt save, so this is why it's not showing that I've completed the expedition yet on this account, or you can make a brand new save and start the expedition from there. Next up we have the Quicksilver Synthesis Companion. This is where you can go ahead and collect your expedition rewards, or you can buy in-game items with Quicksilver. Remember, you can get Quicksilver from the Nexus, and it has a myriad of items and different things you can buy from there. Now the Anomaly is full of NPCs. Some are mission critical, so if you are going through the mission stages, you will all have to speak to these guys at one point or another. Helios, for example, you can go ahead and speak to him and give him planet data. So any planets that you find on your road, you can transfer that knowledge over to him and he'll give you nanites. You can go ahead and speak over to Ares and you can transmit milestone data. Again, you will get nanites. However, Ares has a little bit more options than Helios, where you can go ahead and exchange materials. You trade 1 salvage data and that will then give you 10 additional nanites, or you can indeed purchase upgrades. Now these aren't super powerful upgrades by any stretch of imagination, but there are Bs and C classes there that will definitely do you a good turn, especially if you're just starting out. Next we have Kronos. Kronos is the big guy of the NPC family, and if you have any food, or especially if you're doing fishing, which we'll get onto later, you can feed whatever you do catch or make over to Kronos and he'll give you a reward if he likes it. Next we have the Egg Sequencer. Now the Egg Sequencer is a wonderful tool because if you go ahead and capture an animal on a planet, which you can totally do, they do lay eggs from time to time, and in the Egg Sequencer you can go ahead and basically soup it right up by making it bigger, smaller, and have different traits. Once you have your souped up egg, you can take it down to a planet and hatch it, and you'll have a brand new pet, completely randomly generated. Now a place you're going to spend a lot of time in is the appearance modifier, where you can pick a race, body shape, torso, armor, gloves, legs, boots, backpack, even your banner. Everything here can be changed, as well as the colors, the different styles that you want. I spend so much time in here, it is ridiculous, but you can make your character exactly how you want. Next up we have Hesperus and Gemini. Now these two, you'll just see them, they're always here, and basically they're just mission critical NPCs. You'll need them at some point in order to get new missions or to progress, but other than that they're not really useful for much else. The same goes for Nada. Now Priest Entity Nada is kind of like the captain of the ship, and he's mission critical as well, but outside of missions he's not useful for much else. Polo, which is the little guy next to him, is a lot more useful. So we can get Atlas Station coordinates from him, or we can get black hole coordinates. And the thing is, with black holes, once you go through them, you can end up in random parts of the galaxy, whether it be on the other side. And we'll go on to that in just a little bit. I'll show you just how vast the galaxy truly is in No Man's Sky. At the back of the Anomaly, we have all of these little shops. Now, these little shops are for unlocking all of your main stuff, such as decals, posters, construction equipment, anything and everything to do with the game that needs to be unlocked, you'll find it here. Now, all of these stalls do take nanites, the in-game currency. So we have units for the space stations and buying normal stuff. We have the Quicksilver for the Quicksilver companion to unlock more rarer stuff. And then we have nanites, which is for the bulk of everything else. And there is a lot of stuff to unlock, ladies and gentlemen. It's almost mind-boggling, especially when you first get confronted with this, with just how much there is. Just unlock everything as you go along, and everything will become more clearer to what everything does later down the road. So a little bit further along in the Anomaly, we have this assemble construct. Now, this is mission critical. I won't do any spoilers here, but you'll find out what he does later on. Next up, we have the multi-tool decommissioning station. So if you have a multi-tool like mine, a staff, or just any multi-tool, you can sell it at that location. And we also have another few NPCs dotted around here. Again, that are mission critical, but they're not useful outside of missions. Now, we do have a small hidden room right at the back here. Now, this room actually hosts an NPC inside of it. But you can choose to host him or you can choose to let him go. That's all I'm going to say on that matter. But if you do keep him, that's where he will stay. If you know, you know. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the vastness of No Man's Sky. So if we go to our galaxy map here, you can see exactly what galaxy that I am currently in. However, that's not the only kind of few things you can see around here. In fact, you can go all the way out, for example, over here, and in the top left-hand corner, you can see an entire map of the galaxy. You can see just how fast I am moving, like across the way, and it's barely even moving. And each and every one of these stars has a name because each system has planets and they're fully explorable. They're not just like placeholder things and they're not just placeholder names. You can go to any single one of these locations and you can fly to them, you can explore the planets, everything is procedurally generated. The scale of No Man's Sky, ladies and gentlemen, is absolutely freaking insane. And it's only the first galaxy. There are so many galaxies out there, well over 250 plus of them, and each galaxy is just as big and just as vast, and basically they all have planets like this and systems that you can go and visit. Every single star that you see right now as I'm going backwards, you can visit. And as long as you can get there, as you can see right now, I'm out of jump range. But I'm just going to show you very quickly. Look at how fast I'm going back here. And I'm still not even moving at all on the map at the top left there. In fact, it looks like I'm still being stationary. That's how vast and wide the universe of No Man's Sky truly is. And again, all of these stars that you're seeing, you can physically visit them and they all have systems. This game is truly mind-bending and boggling. So you've gone ahead and you've landed on a planet. Well, the first thing I always like to do is start scanning everything, because once you start scanning everything, it'll add to your catalogue of things that you've discovered, but you'll also get some units as a reward, and depending on how much you've got upgraded for your scanner and things like that, gives you a better reward for scanning. So I've got mine quite souped up, and as you can see, I'm getting quite a lot of units just for literally spending a few minutes just scanning everything. Putting a base down on a new world is more or less a critical part of exploration and basically setting up shop. So you always want to put down a base computer first, and you want to build a shelter. Now, you do have different materials that you can build from, such as wood, stone, and metal. Now, the benefits of doing this instantly is if you can build yourself a small shelter, then it will protect you from the elements. Now, this planet alone is absolutely ridiculous with radiated superstorms, and one is just blowing in right now. So building something to protect yourself from these elements is again very critical if you want to survive here long term. Now, another good piece of advice is whenever you're on a planet, use your scan tool, because you'll get vital resources that you will need for your construction and or travel plans. You'll get dihydrogen crystals, you'll be able to see all the locations for them. That's absolutely vital for starship fuel that you'll need to take off the planet at a later date. You also have a bunch of different things such as sodium rich plants, you have carbon plants, you also have oxygen. Again, all things you will need to survive on the planet. Now another thing you can do if you're so way inclined is to go ahead and dig out tunnels. This has a few benefits. Number one, if it's a storm raging up top on the surface, then you can dig down and get away from the storm and give you some protection. This is a quick and easy method to do so if you're not building on the planet and planning on staying long term. Another reason you'd want to do this is because it will give you something called silicate powder, which is a vital resource that you'll need in your inventory. Now you do have other mods as well, not just mine. You can flatten the ground, you can fill it all back in, and every single planet you are able to do this. It doesn't matter what planet that you are on, you're able to dig. And sometimes, just like you see on screen right now, you'll even find vast cave systems that has its own goodies inside. Now in No Man's Sky, you can choose the way that you play the game. So in the options menu under difficulty, you can change the game on the fly from relaxed to creative, survival, normal, even permadeath. And permadeath is one of those where if you die, that's it. Your entire save is deleted, so you lose all progress. That's for extremely hardcore players, but nonetheless, you have the option if you so wish. Now, of the very latest update, Aquarius, fishing has been brought into the game. This is a brand new mechanic where you can go ahead and cast your line off any sort of platform, any rock. As long as it's in water, you can go ahead and fish. And fish can vary on range from C classes, A classes, and S classes, B classes even. And it's the same sort of structure as with the ship classes as well. It runs off the same sort of thing. I've just caught an S-class legendary fish and the weight, and it's all about trying to catch the biggest fish as possible. Now, another thing that we do have is the exocraft. There's loads of different exocraft in No Man's Sky for land-based, or we even have this, which is one of my little personal favourites. It's called the Nautilon, and you can use it as a submersible submarine. And again, all underwater is fully explorable in No Man's Sky, and depths range quite massively. Sometimes the oceans are very shallow, sometimes the oceans are incredibly deep, so use your Nautilon to get from place to place fairly quickly. Now, one last thing I just want to talk about very quickly is the fact that there is a day and night cycle on all planets. It will rotate from day and night on a live basis, and it's absolutely incredible. But in order to show you just what I mean and just the vast scale of what's really going on here, I've decided to build a small glitchy contraption that once it fires will fling me right up into the air, and you'll be able to then see the planet in full scale. So here we go, I've just been blasted off, and just how vast everything is, from the oceans to the distant islands, everything is totally and fully explorable, including the clouds. When you go through them, you can fly your ships through when you landed on a planet. It's absolutely vast and amazing. But let's get up into space with this, and I'm just going to let it run just for like 5 minutes, even though for you it won't be 5 minutes, but I want to show you something that's absolutely incredible for the daytime and nighttime cycles on a planet. So the footage that you're seeing right now is sped up quite dramatically, but you can see the day and night cycle of a planet. You can see the nighttime receding and the daytime taking over live, and it's absolutely incredible. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's my comprehensive guide to No Man's Sky in 2024. I put all my knowledge, all my effort into this very video. So do me a favor, let me know in the comment section what you think about this. Did you know about the skiff was able to move? Did you know about the space stations? Did you know about how many ships you could have? Was there any part of it that you wasn't unsure about? Is there anything that I didn't mention in today's video that you want to know about? Again, let me know everything in the comment section down below. You know what to do. But that's everything from me here today, ladies and gentlemen. And as always, my name is Professor Cynical, and I'll catch you all again in the next one. Bye for now.